That was a little bit choppy. A little choppy. I dropped a few frames there on that video that I was playing, but I think we're doing okay now. We're live, by the way. I maybe should have mentioned that to you.
We're doing it live.
Our video looks okay. It was the rendering of our intro that looked like it was a little ish, but we are back. We're live again, hopefully. And we'll see if anyone watches this time. But it looks like it's coming through, so that's good. So cheers. Happy week. Happy
week.
Happy 4-day weekend, I guess. If
you
like those sorts of things.
I only work 2 days this week. And then I'm out.
That sounds awful, honestly.
I'm out.
That sounds really horrible.
At this point, I'll take it. I need a little break.
Need a break? A break?
I need a breather.
Yeah, I get it.
I need a breather.
I need like a proper vacation. I don't know when I'll have a proper vacation.
Yeah, you need them, man. You gotta work them in every once in a while.
All our vacations include the kids, so it's like, you gotta like get a babysitter, and then where do you go? Because everything's still in like lockdown, and it's like crazy.
Yeah, you gotta maybe hop in the RV. Bring the kids down to Florida to visit with the grandparents and head to the beach. We're
actually going to take the RV to Indiana probably here in a few weeks.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, I think my parents are going to head up. So my mom, my grandma, and myself all have birthdays within 8 days of each other. So I think we're going to go up there for my grandma's birthday. Or over there, I guess. My parents are going to come up. We're going to go over.
You guys are going to have Oktoberfest birthdays?
Yeah, exactly. Oktoberfest birthdays.
Dress up in your lederhosen?
Yes. Lederhosen. Dude, okay.
You should drink for that.
so just before we got on this podcast, I'm like, let's not worry about it. We got plenty to talk about with everything that's going on in the market. And you said, I haven't really been paying attention to that.
Yeah.
Are you serious? So you don't know what's been going on over the last week?
I have. I'm sticking to my financial illiteracy.
Okay. Well, my portfolio itself has lost 7% over the last week.
Oh. Well, yeah, I did see it was down.
Yeah.
But
I'm almost to a $10,000 loss at this point.
Yeah. I think I saw that, but it didn't really register because we saw some real shit hit the fan back in March. And then that's it. Anything compared to that, I'm just kind of like, it'll go back up eventually.
No, I know. If it doesn't trip a circuit breaker in the stock market, was it really a crash?
I know. Was it really a crash? I was like, what the hell is going on in March? But now I'm kind of like, it's been volatile since March. So this is kind of like, let it ride, man.
I'm in a similar boat. I mean, I am a little bit like annoyed that it's down 10K right now. Well, it's 8K right now, but if anything continues, it'll be down 10K. But the worst part is one of the leaders is Tesla. I looked today, Tesla's down 13% or some crap like that.
Well, hey, I mean, I guess I always wish this were true, but I always wish I had more money to put in the market. Now would be a good time.
Yeah. So this actually reminds me of this Reddit post I was reading. The title. This is in the r/financial independence Reddit. So if you're not super familiar with that subreddit, it's a lot more like Graham Stephanish than Wall Street Bets. So a lot more passive, risk averse, maybe is the nice way to say it. Okay, so confession. I panicked. It cost me a lot. Don't let it happen to you, even if you have to pay for it. So basically, he, at the bottom of this thing, sold it all and moved it all into treasuries.
No.
So he's still not back to market value. It's like, oh, man. And I remember, like, these were conversations we were having and Graham actually made a point of this the other day in his video. I think it was Graham. Maybe it was me, Kevin. I don't know. He was talking about how there's I'm all over the place tonight. That's what this podcast is. It was Andre that mentioned it. He's like, there's a bunch of new finance YouTubers right now. And a lot of them are talking about this like crash of these last couple of days. And they're like not sure what to do because they've never been through this, right? That was March for us,
Right.
We'd never been through anything even sort of like this.
We finally got hit in the mouth.
We did, yeah. And with, I mean, I don't have significantly more in the market now than I did then. I had a portfolio, I think, going in of 135.
Yeah. Mine
1,000,
just
that is.
mine just recovered.
Yeah,
Like
I think after the
month
losses
ago.
this week, I'm basically break even from the beginning of the year. And I'm
Yeah.
basically flat on the month. So at the beginning of the month, or I guess not the beginning of the month, close to the beginning of last month, we basically got back to break even.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was checking out my portfolio for so my New Year's actually revolves around my birthday. That's how I look at New Year's. So that's when I go through
I
more
forgot
so
about
goals and things.
I forgot
Yeah.
about that. That's
I'm just
interesting.
like, to me, that's really the new year. And I was looking at my portfolio and my contributions for the year, and I'm like, man, I did not contribute like nearly as much as I had hoped to over the past year. I still managed to increase my portfolio value by 4%, but the contributions were shit.
Yeah.
Like since March, like, the pullback in the market, and then I think two things happened financially for me outside of the market. Like, I had a reduced salary because of COVID.
Yeah.
And then right when things kind of went back to normal, I moved, took a somewhat reduced salary, but then at the same time, my expenses increased. So not necessarily lifestyle inflation, just more so my immediate concerns and expenses went up. So that just like shrunk the amount that I had been able to invest. And then now I'm just like kind of throwing in as little as I can, or as much as I can, I should say, every month.
So it's not that you like allocated the money elsewhere, really. Like you didn't go and like spend it stupidly on things or invest it in other places. It just like basically didn't exist anymore, right?
Yeah. It's like, I think we're both at the point where our expenses they're not really frivolous expenses.
Right.
We don't really have those. And like those non-frivolous expenses increased.
Yeah.
I mean, cost of living. I think it's like a lesson that we'll continue to, well, we learned the lesson, but I think it's something that we'll continuously see over our lives, like our expenses, even if it's not lifestyle inflation, they're going to increase. Rent is going to increase. Utilities might increase. If you have kids, like those aren't like
they don't
expenses
cost anything. I don't know what you're talking about.
You don't just like cut out those expenses,
Well, some days you want to. Some days you're like, well, are you really worth that extra $500 of groceries?
Yeah, but no, I feel like there are always going to be expenses to take care of your immediate concerns. Yep. And this year, I think maybe I was unrealistic in my goals of being able to continue to contribute as much as I was. So
yeah. I mean, it's a bit like, I released that video this week, finally. If you guys don't know, we're both releasing videos on our channel, one every week. So go check them out.
I did 2 last week.
YouTube.com/u/Trobrock for me. I don't know. You have a named one now?
I think I finally I submitted it last week after we talked. Okay. I don't know if it's been updated.
Okay. So probably youtube.com/u/justinto driving, right?
That's it. Yeah. Yep, still 404s. I did something wrong.
404s. Okay. Well, he'll figure it out eventually, and we'll put it somewhere maybe. But anyways, I released that video, and I mean, that was like a key piece in the spreadsheet that I was putting together, because like my income and expenses, depending on life situations like you're having, fluctuate pretty heavily at times. My income actually fluctuates a lot more than my expenses do. So having something that can like control the amount to invest based on fixed expenses was really, really important. It's actually something I didn't have in the initial version of the spreadsheet. So every time my income changed, I had to go tweak the percentage for my expenses to keep the dollar amount the same. So I eventually flipped it around because my expenses are fixed dollar. They're not percentage, right? Like the goal is to not have it percentage based. That's called lifestyle inflation.
Yeah. You want fixed dollar amounts.
Yeah, so that was a really important piece of that. But yeah, no, I mean, I've fluctuated. I haven't. Luckily, I haven't had to fluctuate down to 0% towards investments so far. But I've fluctuated up from 65% down to 45%. Now I think I'm around 57%. But that's also weird too because it's not monthly. My RSUs, well, now they're paying out quarterly, and then I have every 6 months I get a big chunk in our employee stock purchase plan. Some of it's in 401k, some of my income's from dividends, and like it's kind of like, it's as scientific as it can be, but it can only be so scientific.
Yeah.
But the good news is, you're still investing with your effort.
Yeah. I try
Right?
and
Like,
say do a little bit as
well, I think that's an
little.
important. I think that's an important thing to talk about too. Is like, you don't necessarily have to invest with money.
Yeah.
Like it's
Yeah.
it's a lot easier to invest with money. It's you can take $100 and buy $100 of Tesla, and watch your money burn right now if you'd like to. Sorry, I've taken quite a big hit on Tesla over the last few days.
Well, the thing is, though, Tesla, like,
Let's just
it's going to be a roller coaster.
let me
It
just
shot up.
let me just pull this up real quick. No, the worst part is 3 days ago before this thing started crashing, I was like, maybe I should shave some of my Tesla earnings and put it into my other companies. But I'm like, nah, stonks only go up. Let's look at this here. In the last week, I have gone down 30% on Tesla. So
That's fine.
at one point, I was up over 400% on Tesla. I'm now up 190%. So a little bit of a thing. Anyways, I think it's important to say because everyone always talks about investing in terms of money, right? Like you earn $100 and you put $100 in the stock market or whatever else. But you, for example, you're investing your time on the real estate business, and that is an actual investment that's getting you at minimum 1% of the property that we close on, right?
Yeah.
But right, like 1% of a $250,000 property, that's not small.
Yeah. Times that by 10.
Yeah.
What we're trying to do.
And I mean, it's the same thing with the way, ran Greenbits when we started that. Almost all of my investment was through time that I put in. Same thing with the other company that I'm starting right now. It's all time that's put in to get the percentage in the company. So it's a lot more risky, but also potentially a lot more lucrative, and it's free, effectively.
Yeah. I mean, effectively.
Opportunity cost and all, but
opportunity cost, but hey.
But that's all to say, like, everyone talks about investing in terms of dollars, but you can invest in other ways.
Yeah, I guess that's where my investments have come from this year. More so than actual dollars in the market, more so time working on other things that I can.
Yeah, and I mean, you and I both are going to be doing that a lot in the real estate game here soon because, like, we bought this property, but I don't have any more money I can invest. If the market keeps going this way, I might not even be able to buy this house. Don't tell my realtor that.
It's like go up a little bit.
I might have to tap into that emergency fund a little sooner than I thought.
Jeez.
But no, I have the cash to cover everything. I was just planning on covering most of it with the credit line from M1.
My money is officially in limbo now.
Nice. Your money has officially vanished. That's the best part of transferring your account.
It's apparently in an Andrew Katz transfer.
Nice.
So
nice.
This is a fun time.
It is. It's really fun to watch all your hard-earned, invested money just vanish into nothing and have no insight into anything. It's one of my favorite things about finance, to be honest. I just love when I have like thousands of dollars go nowhere.
Well, it's so funny because like money is so made up, but it's so important. We totally just invented this thing.
Yeah, we did. Because we got tired of like having to like value, arrows and rocks.
Yeah, bartering and that's
like, how much is one rock really worth? It's. Although the barter thing is like it's big in society right now. Actually, like there's a whole
bartering
is
still very real.
I'm not really into it, but I guess I kind of am with business. I mean, if the stock market really is just that, it's bartering. What was I saying before you took me down that tangent?
Oh,
Oh,
no,
but
that's
no,
my
on the
fault.
real estate side, I don't have any money left, right? But we want to buy 9 more properties. We're going to invest with our hours to do that.
Yeah.
We're going to
That's
invest
where we
our
end up putting
hours
in time.
to figure out, find good deals, to structure an investment for someone else to put in their cash.
Yeah.
Just another form of investing.
Yeah.
Hashtag end
Yeah.
rant.
Well, yeah, I think it goes back to money, you know, like money is not just the paper dollar. Like we're making money by doing these other things.
It is, yeah. And I mean, I think Grant Cardone gets a lot of flack for a lot of reasons, and I think a lot of it is not undeserved.
Some of it's deserved, yeah.
But he has a lot of concepts that I really agree with and have been very motivating in my life, and I think make a lot of sense. And his concept of OPM, other people's money, and how you should be.
I thought you said opium.
Yeah,
It's like, wow.
his concept
Grant
of
is going.
Grant's
opium. Not doing
he
so
got
well
he
right
got
now,
really
is he?
he got really hit in this turn down, and he's turned to opium.
He's like making videos on opium now.
I mean,
doing
he's in
live
Florida
streams of
though, so
opium.
like the fact that he didn't go straight to meth, like, congrats to him. You know,
Yeah.
I love Florida. I grew up in Florida, so don't knock me for Florida for those people in 500 years that are watching this and like Florida's the most amazing place in the world and doesn't get ragged on the media anymore because everyone realizes it's amazing.
Or just disappears because of
Wow.
hurricanes.
These conversations are impossible for other people to follow. They have to be. But his concept of OPM, other people's money, I think is a really, really important and valuable concept in the world of business and investing, right? That's exactly what we're talking about in real estate. Is how do we buy properties with other people's money, turn them around, give other people's money back with a healthy return, and generate equity for us. So we're literally creating equity out of what will seem no monetary value, but hours and sweat on our side.
Yeah. Well, like we always talk about, like we also want to enable people to invest in real estate without having to really invest in real estate.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I have, I have one loan out, one promissory note out right now that I loaned to a company. It's my first like big amount of money I've ever loaned, just because I had this, I mean, you know the way that I manage the finances. It's split up into stocks and storage. You'll know a little bit about this if you watch my latest YouTube video. Again, youtube.com/u/Trobrock.
Check it out. It's actually really good. Some good budgeting tips in there.
We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about that video in just 1 second.
I wish you would have gone more into the RV.
1 second. 1 second. I don't want us to get sidetracked again. Maybe already have. Uh-oh.
Yeah, we're already sidetracked.
Uh-oh.
We're on to the next topic now.
OPM. Blah, blah. Oh, yeah. No. Okay, so this is my first like large amount of money that I loaned to someone because I had that storage account and I could. One of the companies I'm working with, they needed basically a bridge loan and they were going to get screwed by going to Stripe. So I loaned them money. That's like the coolest thing in the world. I loaned them like $25,000 and over the course of the year, I'm going to earn like 8-9% on it, which is amazing. It beats the average annual return. Who the hell knows what this year's return is going to be? It's going to be anywhere from like -50 to like 120%. But it earns a better than average return. And that's what we're proposing to enable people to do with us in real estate, is basically get a very safe return on their money without having to, fix toilets 2 a.m, which apparently is a thing that people are scared of. That's why you hire a property manager, but that's okay.
Yeah. The real estate nightmare.
Exactly.
2 a.m. toilets.
Exactly. Yeah, 2 a.m. toilets. I self-managed a property without knowing anything in San Jose. I never once got a call at 2 a.m. I mean, they basically burned down the house. And I still never got a call at 2 a.m. So, I mean, I feel like if you can leave it with the house catches on fire as the tenants are moving out, and not get a call at 2 a.m., you're probably not going to get a call at 2 a.m.
Yeah. They just lit the house on fire. That's all.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not saying they did.
Somebody. It just happened to catch on fire.
I'm not saying it. Okay, so that video. I've been wanting to talk to you about this video. So it has performed horribly.
Well, it's the first one you
Awful.
posted in a while.
Awful.
Also,
yeah, really bad.
how does it rank? What's it ranking amongst like the top 10? Isn't that a metric?
The beginning of this morning, it was 7, and now it's 10.
Okay. Okay, yeah. So it's a terrible performing video, but it doesn't mean it's a terrible video.
So okay, so here's what's interesting though, and I don't know, it's got 9 views last I checked, right? So not statistically significant in any way. And I pushed this on Twitter and in our Discord channel, which if you're interested in joining the Discord channel, let us know, because right now it's just basically me and other people I know. So it could just be like people I'm friends with watched it, and that's why these metrics are high. But views are down quite a bit from a normal video. One, I released it on holiday, which, as you know, I was hesitant about.
Yeah.
But the average view duration is up from my normal video. So like normally my video does about 4 minutes to 4:30 of watch time. And granted, that's because most of my videos historically have been a lot shorter. I'm trying to keep them 8 to 12 minutes now. This one was around 8:30, I think. And the watch time is actually like 7:30, 7:40. Which really is great for that length video. But like I said, it could be because it was friends and I asked them to watch the whole thing through. The click-through rate is really bad, but there's also not enough data for that. The click-through rate's like 1.2. It's really bad. But there's not enough data for that. You can't really trust click-through rate on a channel of my size until at least week 2.
And it's early. We published it a day ago, and yesterday was a holiday.
Yep, so it's early. And I think that's actually, we're digressing from finance topics here. We're into like YouTube creator land now. I need to figure out how to get your face up higher because I feel like I'm just like looking down the whole time.
I need to get my face higher.
Yeah. There's a That's What She Said joke in there somewhere. Now we're onto like YouTuber creator sort of land here. But I think one of the big failings of new YouTubers is paying attention to the metrics.
Like everything we just talked about.
Everything we just talked about. No, but the difference, there's a difference between like paying attention to the metrics and knowing what they mean and paying attention to the metrics and listening to big YouTubers. So if you listen to big YouTubers, your click-through rate should be like 9%. Your average watch time duration should be about 50%. Like, those numbers are freaking all over the place when you're small, right? These big YouTubers, they're getting 1,000 views in the first hour. That's statistically significant. They can accurately calculate like a realistic click-through rate or watch duration. When you have 9 views on a video, it doesn't mean anything.
Yeah.
Like I can only really rely on those stats on 3 of my videos, and that's because they get enough traffic to do that. Otherwise, you have to wait for months before that data is actually significant. A lot of these big YouTubers, they'll A/B test titles and thumbnails. You can't do that as a small YouTuber.
You just got to put it out.
You just got to put it out there.
You got to make content that you want to create and
make content, be happy with the content, and do the next video. And that's all I'm going to do with this one. It's, you look at the stats and you're like, oh, wow, this is the worst video I've ever produced. But it's not. And that's part of the reason I've been binge watching my channel today.
Going through reviewing your own content.
What did you find? I have one playlist, the vlog playlist, that I put every single video on, and I watched it from beginning, and I'm now at episode 34, I think. And it's fun to watch. my filmmaking skills definitely got better. My storytelling skills definitely got better. You could tell the videos where I actually had an idea for a topic and outlined it. There were some things that I just completely ruined. There was one week where I just like got really behind on content and didn't have any like good like standalone things. So I mixed it all into one mega vlog. But there was one section of that I'm like, this is the best vlog I've ever done. But I put it 7 minutes in to this stupid mega vlog, and I should have broken it out to its own thing. It also made me miss building a business, dude. Like those.
Why is that?
A lot of those early days with like you and me and Ian and Seth and Bahara and Charlie, like that was just good times. And there's so many days that I look back on where I like left work and I was so amped for like the things we were about to do and the things we were about to change. And I feel like I just got a little bit like lost in other directions and felt a little bit like out of control, and I couldn't like make the changes I wanted to make. And so I kind of just gave up.
Yeah.
And yeah, I really enjoyed that, like that building stuff, building a business, you know?
That was a very fun time.
It really was.
That was a good time.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of things that I could have done better there, but this is not the place for that discussion.
Yeah. We're not doing a retro.
We should do a retro. We should do a retro.
Well, I remember doing weekly retros, and I remember Ian messaging me that I couldn't finish the pitcher of beer that I had next to me during retro. He bet me $10, and did I win? I won that $10.
I mean, everyone worked so hard to get you to come out on Friday nights.
And when I did, it was a great time.
There was a period of time that you did. There was a period of time that you did. I stumbled across a couple of those videos too.
Yeah, save those for, later. That's just proof. Those are like recruiting videos.
Right? Yeah, the recruiting videos, yeah. No, it was a really good time. So yeah, I mean, it's been good rewatching those videos. It's definitely, my content is a lot more focused now, a lot more, I mean, professional now, I guess. I like making it though.
Yeah, I had a lot of fun. We're both small YouTubers. We don't really know anything, but it's fun. We both like making videos.
I actually have a bit of a fear that if and when my channel becomes like actual like level to the point where I'm like, it's a business, right? It's a revenue stream. I'm a little bit like concerned that it'll be harder for me to take risks. That's not to say I won't take risks, because that's what I like to do, but it'll be harder.
Why is that?
Because the YouTube algorithm is so fickle.
Welcome to the land of SEO.
It's like, I just looked at the live stream down below, and I'm just like looking down the whole time. I wonder if I can like drag this up and it still works. How's that work for you? No, that's not any better. Okay, never mind. I'm just going to give up. Okay. Moving on.
Cheers to that.
Cheers to that. What other Reddit topics did I have? Okay, so I had this other interesting one.
You had a fire one that I was reading and kind of...
I think almost all of them. Okay, so there was that one. Okay,
the one from Fat Fire. One.
The one from why don't the wealthy invest in index funds?
Oh, it wasn't that one.
No, you were talking about the other one. That's the one I want to talk about, anyways. So this one was from, again, the Financial Independence Reddit, and it was titled "Building a Machine Instead of a Stash," and that title one is like really fascinating. This is the one you're talking about, right?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So the basic idea was really like heavy, like 4-hour work week, right? It was build a business you can walk away from, rather than focusing on building like an investment nest egg.
Correct.
And I thought that was a really, interesting idea, obviously, because it's kind of what I'm doing. But I'm doing both.
My opinion is I would not do. Well, I would do both. I wouldn't do one, or I wouldn't do the business and not the retirement
That's
fund.
what a lot of the comments were about. Is like, well, you should probably do both. However, I would say if you couldn't do both, which one would you pick?
It's a good question. I think it is. I think you'd have a better chance at having a consistent income through an investment account than building a business. I think more businesses.
They would go the opposite direction.
I think statistically more businesses will fail, and the problem I have with the business, especially the one he or she were describing, one, most businesses fail. Two, a marketing business like they were describing will go. You have to constantly reinvent the marketing agency in order to exist and still deliver value to your clients, and it's going to take a lot more time and money than they laid out.
I do agree that they are misleading themselves when they think that this is a passive business, because it's not. They're farming out the like minutia of things, but they still have to be the innovators and the leaders of the business, and that's definitely not something that I think could replace a passive dividend based portfolio.
Yeah, and like I specifically with the business they were describing, I've been on both sides of the coin, both sides of the table. Like I've been the person delivering as the marketing contractor or agency, and then I've also been working with a number of different agencies, and I've seen ones that have done really well, and I've seen ones that have not done well. But the ones that succeed and are still around are the ones that constantly reinvent themselves, and it takes a lot of time and effort to do that. And I just don't see it as a passive business that you can build, because 10 years ago, if you built a marketing agency around Google AdWords, you'd be doing great for a period of time, but then you'd miss out on evolving that ad agency into doing social ads, which is where most of all the attention is right now.
Yes.
So that's why something like a marketing agency, there's no way you can just build like some sort of hands-off business. Well, I'm not going to say no way, but I think the chances of you doing that is very, very low.
I agree. I also moved you across my screen, so I look up a little bit more. Yes, I agree with the marketing business. I think it's not as passive as they think it is. However, if I could only do one, I think I would lean towards starting a business. And that's because, well, I think part of it comes down to just my goals and what I want to do. I actually stumbled across that video where I like announced what I want to do and my goals. And it's like winning the game of business or whatever I framed it as. I stumbled across my my blog post. I think I turned it into a blog post when I turned 30. It was talking about that. I think that would be interesting to go over at some point, not today. But I think I would lean towards starting a business. And for me, that's because there's not a whole lot of excitement in building something that just grows 6 or 7% a year. Like there's a lot of safety in it, but there's not a lot of excitement. And the amount of work I have to put in to get to the level of a 4% withdrawal rate is very, very high. Versus I could put in just as much work and come out with potentially a lot higher return, or potentially nothing. Building a business or a few.
That's why I think you gotta do both.
You have to do both, and like that's kind of the way I look at it. It was interesting watching a Meet Kevin video today. He was talking a bit about this crash, and he was basically justifying why he's so heavy on tech in his investment portfolio, and it's because he's also so heavy on real estate. He views it kind of as a hedge. That's kind of how I view my portfolio. It's actually more like a hedge against my risky business starting ventures than it is anything else.
Yeah, it's risk management.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
I still have a crazy risky portfolio, but
But
close-ish.
still, you're invested. You have an emergency fund,
Exactly, yep.
and you're going through the process of starting businesses.
Yeah, a 3-month emergency fund. That's like the most risk averse thing. So, worst case, I can cover 3 months from cash. That doesn't include credit lines and things like that. And then there's the investment portfolio, which is designed to grow as aggressively as the market will allow. But that's far less aggressive than any business I could start. And then I'm starting businesses.
Yeah, because like you look at the stock market, you're going to see what on average 8 to 10%. But with businesses, the return is 10% to 1,000%,
Yeah. Yeah,
or
exactly.
infinite, if you only put in some time
Exactly.
and no money.
Yeah, no, I
So
mean that's actually what's really interesting is if you do the ROI calculations on on Greenbits, for example. Uh, I actually have an ROI calculation because I put cash in, whereas Andrew, his is infinite. He never put cash in. He only
it's an
did work.
infinite return.
So I
Yeah.
can never beat his return on Greenbits because he never put cash in.
I
Math is
mean,
funny
yeah,
like that, right?
and investments are funny like that. But yeah, that's like best case.
But even that,
But
like that return is still pretty good,
but I think
even
this
at the
ties,
not so wonderful valuation that we're currently at.
yeah, give it time,
Yeah.
hopefully. I think that ties in nicely to the other thread about why the wealth or do
Yes.
invest.
Why they don't invest in index funds.
I see. Yeah, I think if you look at us, I mean, I right now I have a few positions in index funds, but um, if you look at us and our, lifestyle goals, business goals, financial goals, like we can't reach those goals by getting 8 to 10% returns.
Exactly.
So we have to hedge by investing in the stock market, maybe not index funds, but something that will hopefully consistently return around 8%. But we have to take those risks in order to reach those goals.
Yep.
So does that, I wonder if the wealthy look at it as the same way, that they are
So
investing in things that will get more than the average index fund return.
I actually read through that post quite a bit, and the broad majority of people that were talking in there were actually saying that the wealthy were investing primarily in mutual funds that actively managed mutual funds that return on average less than an index fund would. And the question was primarily like, why would you do that?
Yeah.
And the answer, for the majority's sake, was once you reach a certain level of wealth, you're more concerned with keeping your wealth than growing your wealth.
That's a great point.
It makes sense. There were a couple of people in there that responded similar to what I like to believe I will be, and it's like once you reach a certain amount, like YOLO, right? So, and I'll expand on that a little bit. My like for me, it's like 3 to 3.5 million, right? Around there. Like let's just say 3 million, so I don't have to say so many syllables. 3 million, right? Will pay for my family's living expenses indefinitely, following the 4% rule, right?
Right.
So when I hit 3 million, that's getting like protected. When I break 3 million, that's like
Oh,
the equivalent of playing with the house money, right? Like that's when
yeah.
you're up big in roulette and you're like, why not?
Everything else you're willing to bet. That's kind of where I'm at. Like at minimum, I want to have 6. for that 4% withdrawal.
Yep.
I think that will.
Yeah, I think 4 is probably my number.
There's a lower number that would allow me to live like satisfactory care of everything that I need to take care of. But I think like 6, like I'll be comfortable.
Yeah.
There's a bigger number like around 30 where I think I'll be just like very set. But in order to go from 6 to 30, like everything above 6 needs to be continued to invest. And
yeah. I mean,
like house money.
It's like, yeah, for me, the 4 million it basically turns into my emergency fund, right? You put it in a portfolio that's returning you the right amount so that you can withdraw at the 4% rate and live off of that if you need to. I don't plan on, like, once I hit 4 million, quitting. That's just like, I mean, I won't work for like someone else at that point, because there's nothing I hate more in the world than working for someone else. I guess, like said every entrepreneur ever. But that 4 million I kind of look at as like my emergency fund, and then everything else is, like I said, like, to hit the goals we have to place big bets. And that's what that money is for, to place big bets.
Yeah.
Like we're going to get into it. I've said so many times that eventually this topic will be broached on in content. We're going to get into it. What's your target? Long term, like, what would you like to see that you've hit before you die?
Like 30 is that sweet spot. That's what I'd be okay with banking and then risking everything else.
That's what you'd be okay with banking and then risking everything else. But what's the total net worth? You would be, like, if you died and could look back and the only thing you could see was your net worth, right? Because there's a lot of other things in life that matter. Don't get me wrong, for anyone 20 years down the road that's watching this. If the only thing you could see was your net worth, what would that number be for you to be like, yes, you did it?
It would be anything over that. I mean, really.
Anything over 30.
I really don't have.
Okay.
Anything over that is like gravy. It means I'm presumably good. My family's presumably like generational.
Yep.
We're good.
Generational wealth at that point.
Yeah.
Actually, I'm interested. What is the limit for generational wealth?
I'm curious. This would be something interesting to speculate. Is when something like the LeBron James family wealth will be gone.
When the LeBron James generational wealth will be gone?
Yeah.
What do you mean by that?
Like, how long will that family's wealth continue on?
Yeah, so I think that's interesting, right? Because I think there's a big contingent piece there of, and I think that's probably why I'm not going to find a good answer to what the number for generational wealth is how well you teach your subsequent generations to manage money, right? Because like something I think about a lot, it's something, Gary Vee talks about, a lot of people that have a decent amount of money talk about, that have kids, like let's take Gary Vee, for example. He's an immigrant. So he came up with that mindset of like, of grit and fighting and earning what you have, but he's got kids now. And he can obviously provide pretty much anything for them. So he struggles a lot with this concept of like, how do I balance like giving them what I've earned versus teaching them the value of earning what they get. And that's something I struggle with a lot with my kids too, is like, how do you do that? And I think there's a lot there to be said about generational wealth. So say 30 million is your generational wealth. For me, generational wealth almost means it's enough money to last 2 generations of like financially illiterate morons. Like, that's kind of what generational wealth for me means, right? Because if you reach a certain level, like say even 10 million,
Yeah.
and you pass that down, if you have financially intelligent children, they will be able to maintain and grow that. And then if they have financially intelligent children, they'll be able to maintain and grow that. And your wealth is like the generational wealth is going to actually increase over time.
Right.
So I don't know where we're going with that, but
I'm willing to bet.
But your number is 30 plus. Got it.
30 plus. Yeah. I'm willing to bet that going to generational wealth for something like LeBron James's family, I think that'll go for a while. I think his kids are going to do well. I think his grandkids will do well. After that, hard to say because I think he's like the CEO of the family, right? After grandkids, he might have to rely on his kids in order to pass that knowledge down. But I for some reason that popped in my head because I'm always thinking about these prestigious families and empires over the last few thousand years that have disappeared because at some point, the families run out of money.
So
the empires are toppled.
LeBron is roughly worth about $480 million.
Okay.
So this is going to pop up over your face, I think. Oh, hey, no, it didn't. Cool. Right, because I moved you. Okay, so 480 over 30. So it's 16 times your level for generational wealth. So he's got 16 of your generations now.
So yeah, that's why I think he's going to go on. The James's family will be just fine.
Yeah, unless there's someone that buys like a $16 million car.
That would be impressive, actually.
I think you could do it. I think there's probably a $16 million car.
The thing is, though, if you buy a $16 million car, you can probably sell it for 16 if you have to liquidate. Because anything
Not
16
if you bought
million.
a bad deal.
I mean, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I was watching this Grim Stephan video, and I haven't heard about this before. So Dr. Dre is getting divorced. Have you heard about this?
Did not hear about this.
So Dr. Dre is getting divorced. His wife is asking for $2 million a month in support.
Oh my God.
And she wrote out her expenses. So there was a lot of stuff that was really crazy, but this is the one that stood out for me. In a month, how much do you think she asked for entertainment?
When I look at my entertainment budget, I can't imagine how much she's spending. $500,000?
$900,000.
$900K on entertainment.
In a month.
Yo, that's lifestyle inflation. You got to cut that down. I hope
that is $10.8 million a year in entertainment. What are you even doing?
Is she?
You could charter Cirque du Soleil in your living room every day and not spend that much money.
She might be supporting our entertainment industry.
That is $29,000 a day. A day.
You know what? I support it. That is probably working wonders for the economy right now.
She also had like $20,000 a month in cell phone, and internet, something like that. Like, what are you even doing? Like, how's that different when you're rich? Like, that's not something anyone's ever told me. Like, you can't have normal people's cell phone plans when you get rich. It's going to cost you $10,000 a month. What?
What kind of phone provider is she using?
It's some crazy stuff. Oh my! I'm gonna see if I can find this.
Using like a military phone line. Like, I don't understand how that much money has to be dumped into that. That's the most ridiculous monthly expense sheet I've ever heard.
It was really crazy. Okay, here it is. Okay, $10,000 a month for oh man, I just loaded it. Okay, here it is. All right, here's the whole breakdown. Okay, so she's asking for $1.9 million a month. Here's the breakdown. $10,000 a month for laundry and cleaning. I could maybe see that.
Depending on the house.
Depending on the house, depending on the wardrobe, I could see that.
Yeah.
Here's a fun one. Clothes. What do you think for clothes? Dr. Dre's wife. A month.
It's got to be another 10 to 20 grand.
135,000.
What?
Graham was like, dude, if you go to Gucci and bought a new outfit every day for $3,000, it would still be $40,000 less than what she's asking for.
Dude, this person...
$135,000 over 30 days is $4,500 a day in clothes.
Yeah, this is some lifestyle inflation shit right here.
Right?
This is way too much.
Here's a good one. Education, tuition, and living expenses. $60,000 a month.
For her?
Yeah. Graham's like, if you're making $60,000 a month to pay for education, why are you getting an education? Just take the $60,000.
Yeah, I know.
Entertainment, $900,000 a month. We already talked about that. Charitable contributions was $125,000 a month. All right, here's one.
Okay.
Mortgage. What do you think she's paying a mortgage?
Oh God. Per month?
Mm-hmm.
How many houses?
All I know is mortgage.
100,000.
Oh, you hit that nail on the head.
Yes.
Well done. Well done, real estate mogul you.
That was a lucky guess.
Telephone, cell phone, and email. Yeah, it was telephone, cell phone, and email. It wasn't even internet. It was email. $20,000 a month.
Does she know Gmail can be used for free or Yahoo?
I think when you get that quote unquote generational wealth, they don't let you use it anymore or something. I don't know.
Maybe
I don't know what's going on.
she's paying Basecamp an exorbitant amount for a Hey email address. Wow.
Yeah, I need to read this article. This looks very entertaining. But yeah, so that was a thing. Like, what? You know, we're talking about like I need $4 million to live forever. She's like, I'm going to need $2 million a month.
Dude, if I somehow got on a stipend of $2 million a month, get to a point where I'm like, all right, I have to like donate 80% of this or something.
Do you know how much she would need invested to follow the 4% rule?
Oh, I wish I could do the mental math, but it's got to be ridiculous.
$600 million. She would need almost $1 billion invested.
Oh my God.
That's
now,
insane.
do you think she and her lawyer are asking for this because they know it's going to get cut by 75%?
Negotiation 101, right? Apparently, now we're like doing super gossip here, right?
This is fun. This is fun, though.
Thank you, Graham.
This is fun financial
Thank you,
gossip.
Graham, for this. Apparently, they signed a prenup, and she's trying to fight it anyways.
Oh no. Oh no.
I mean, like, I don't know her. I don't got anything against her, but like, I hope he wins.
She's gonna get.
For all the men out there in the world, I hope she wins.
I feel like she'll be taken care of.
Hope he wins.
She'll be taken care of, but I don't think she's gonna get the
honestly,
$2 million
I think it would be kind of messed up to get a divorce, having been that successful, and not help her in any way.
Yeah,
but I guess there's a lot of circumstances where I could disagree with that statement that I just made too.
Yeah, we don't know the intricacies of kind of what's going on.
Yeah, it's it was crazy. It was an interesting video to watch that he did. A bit different from his normal topics, but that was on his second channel, of course.
Yeah, so if she only gets 25% of what she asked for, she'll still get $500,000 a month. Which is ridiculous, but maybe that's why she's asking for that much.
Maybe. Yeah, I don't know. I'm curious to see how it plays out. I bet you we'll never know, you know?
We'll never know the official number, but that was interesting.
I mean, if nothing else, she got her name in the press, right? Like, it could literally be just that.
Yeah.
You know,
she's got to be good at something too.
I've heard.
She's got to be good at something.
My YouTube channel hasn't proven that yet, but.
Yeah. So you just need to post more.
What's the next video you're making?
Let's see. I've got a list here on my whiteboard.
You've heard it here. You've heard it here first.
Actually, I don't know. I haven't chosen from my list.
Oh my God.
It's basically like throwing at a dartboard.
Don't you have to make it like this week?
Well, it's tough because I'm going to be gone this week and next week. So I'm either going to have to film one tonight or, which probably won't happen because after this I got to eat and pack. I'm probably just going to have to start releasing more when I get back towards the end of September. That or like get creative with more, compiling videos that I already have filmed.
Dude, just make one while you're traveling.
I'm going to be on a bachelor party. I'm not going to be making driving videos on a bachelor party.
You don't have to make a driving video. Make a video about your car. Talk about it. What's your idea list? Let's see if I can come up with a brilliant idea.
No, I'm not going to throw my idea list out there now.
Why not?
Because I've got videos that I'm already going to make that I've got. They're purposefully videos that I can easily make with footage that I already have or footage that I can easily film in the garage. But I got to be here. This is my first trip in 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, where are you going?
5, 6, 7. 7 months. We are going near Shasta Lake.
I'm not going to lie. I'm extremely jealous that you're like going to a bachelor party right now.
Yeah,
I would actually kill to go to a bachelor party right now.
Well, don't kill anyone. You just need to.
If someone offers to take me to a bachelor party, I will.
Maybe you should just go on. Maybe find people who recently got engaged on Instagram that share something and be like,
I'm gonna post up an Instagram ad.
Invite.
I'm gonna post an Instagram ad.
Please invite me to your bachelor party.
Pay thousands of dollars to show up on everyone's feed that just got engaged. They're getting ring ads and wedding venue ads. Then they get me I want to go to your bachelor party.
Please invite me to your bachelor party.
That would be amazing. No, but when this is all over, we're doing a Vegas trip.
Yeah, that will be fun. I almost went to Vegas this weekend just for fun.
You can't do that without telling me.
Because it's only a 4-hour drive. So.
Yeah, it's only a 4-hour flight.
Yeah.
I'll go. I have an N95 mask. I'll wear that. I'll sanitize the whole way. I'll do it.
I feel like in casinos you don't have to wear it because the cigarette smoke will just
it just kills everything in sight.
Kills everything inside.
That makes sense.
That is not scientifically proven, and do not quote me on that.
Yeah, we are not lawyers or financial advisors or health advisors, for that matter. So don't listen to anything we say, basically. But at least watch the video and enjoy the ride. And we talked about everything on this list, so now I have to come up with more live streaming topics next week.
Yeah,
wait, are we doing one next week? Are you back? When do you get back?
I'm not gonna be back.
How long is this bachelor party?
So the bachelor party will go till Sunday, but then I'm staying back home. Well, not home anymore, but I'll be in the Bay Area for 4 or 5 days.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay, we have to figure out the next podcasting schedule.
I can do it remote.
Yeah.
Even more remote.
Even more. It's no one's gonna notice anything.
Yeah.
Mostly because no one watches.
Yeah. These are just for the archives.
Yeah, exactly. Just for me to have something to do during the day where I have to convert it to an MP3 and edit the front and back off.
Dude, we can live stream from Zoom.
Well, no, the live stream's not the problem. I just had to trim the front and the end off on the MP3 so that someone doesn't pull up the podcast on iTunes. They're like, why is it silent for 18 minutes? Oh, that's when we're getting the live stream set up.
I see.
No, the podcast from last week went live today. Tomorrow goes live tomorrow.
Okay.
So I'm gonna start releasing the podcast that we record the next week.
Okay.
So if you want to get the early dibs, you got to watch it on YouTube or watch the live streams. Otherwise, you can get the podcast version a week later. And that was entirely intentional. It had nothing to do with the fact that I completely forgot that I hadn't done it all week.
Yep. This is the
completely intentional. Yep. Mm-hmm. Yep.
Oh my God.
So, I mean, do you have anything else finance related that we want to talk about? Because I think we've only talked about one finance related thing in this podcast.
We talked about a bunch of finance related things. They were just mixed in with culture and
That's true.
everything
We
else.
did. All right. So we got $30 million plus for you for generational wealth. We have more than that for Dr. Dre's wife.
She's
And
set.
we have, I guess that's it. I guess that's all we really have. Your number and her number.
Yeah. We'll talk about yours next week.
Oh, boy. Let's not talk about my number.
We're going to need, for our 1 billionth podcast, we will talk about your... Stay tuned, everybody who's watching. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, it's been great. It's a fun time getting to talk to you guys that aren't there. And
I'm really happy with the turnout. This is a lot more than I expected.
Exactly. Yeah. As usual, you can find us on Twitter at twitter.com/GustinJabriel and twitter.com/Trobrock or thefinancialilliterates.com and everywhere podcasts are available, and youtube.com/something or other. You probably already know it because you're already here.
Yeah.
And that's it. Maybe it was less stuttery this week, but I think it's still pretty stuttery. We're going to have to drop down to 720p next week, I think. All right. Bye, everyone.
Bye.